everybody, this is Skeet.
Mosh and Mikey.
Rock and Roll Roundtable.
Yeah, absolutely. Presented, as always, by our good friends at Moshman Media.
This week, 20 favorite guitarists.
Yeah, going to try to dwindle down our 20 favorite guitarists. I don't know. I mean, do you think we probably don't need to rank until maybe the top five, but we'll just have like 15 that are agreed upon, maybe, or something?
I
Well,
just, I was just making a list of 20 of my favorite guitarists.
yeah, I got a list of like 30 here, but I
Oh,
mean,
you got
I can
30?
I probably do. I just put a bunch of guitar players that I listen to and enjoy, and the ones I think are really talented guitar players. So yeah, we'll decide. We can just throw it together and see what happens. But I think basically the top few are going to be the important ones as far as a ranking system. But if you want to rank all 20, we can. It doesn't affect
Well,
me, but however you want to do it. I know we want to basically talk about guitar players. I think we named it 20 favorite because we figured that's about right, and we'll see. We'll see what we agree on. There might be some that we have an argument about, but I don't see it really. So just
all
you can
right.
throw one of your lesser known ones out first, so we
What
know
my lesser known?
that
Uh,
may be surprising or something.
well, I'm going to go with female guitarist, Nita Strauss. She
Okay,
made my top 20 list.
all right.
So I kind of want to
Well,
throw her in the mix because she's kind of an exciting newer guitar player within the last 5-10 years.
yeah.
She played with Alice Cooper, is touring
Yeah,
on her own,
she does a good job with Alice Cooper. Yeah, I've seen
and,
her.
and I saw her live, and she fucking shreds. So I was
Yeah.
like, we definitely, I don't have a lot of females that I added for my top 20,
Yeah, I think I only
but
have
I wanted
one.
her in on the list. So
Yeah, I have one, and I'll put her on there right now since we're doing the women first. It sounds like I have Courtney Cox listed as
very
one of
nice.
mine. More for Iron Maidens because I saw her live with Iron Maidens, but I've heard her do King Diamond stuff. I've heard her do the Burning Witches stuff, and she's just phenomenal. Her and Nita are about really cut out of the same cloth. They're kind of similar styles, but Courtney is not hard to look at all. But that has nothing to do with the guitar playing. I mean,
Yeah.
she's just uh, a beast, and I follow her on social media, and she is all about the guitar. So I
Oh,
think
yeah.
she's incredible. I do. I think she's really good.
Exactly. Exactly. So we might as well add Lita to the mix. I'm gonna throw Lita in
Okay.
there.
Yeah, I see her as more of a vocalist, but yeah, I know she plays, and I mean, I'm not a big fan of Joan Jett either, but I know she's probably considered one of the top. Like I just don't listen to her enough, but she would be another one that would be considered, as a high-ranking guitar player.
Well, let me. I'm trying to look real quick. So I also have for a reference from Grok on X. The AI has got a top 250 list that Rolling Stone put out, and this was in 2023. So I asked him to
Okay.
give me that list in a list form from Rolling Stone.
Okay.
Lita ranked 90. She was number 90.
Okay.
I'm looking for Joan Jett. Joan Jett was 115
Okay. That's fair. I mean, that's pretty decent rankings there. I'd say
out
that's
of
probably about right.
250. And I mean, this list goes so many genres.
Right.
So, just kind of glancing through it, but I wanted it as a reference point. So it's like, we'll give our 20, but let's see what Rolling Stone had to say.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good idea that if I say something and they're ranked in a high spot, I might argue with it or say that's about right, like I just did, and that's not a bad idea either. Um, I have a little more than 20, like I said, but a lot of them were just not as high as the top 20 I have. I mean, I have a lot of
Yeah.
honorable mentions, put it that way.
Okay.
Uh, if it's, I think it's your spin. Yeah, because I did Joan Jett, so you can go ahead and
Oh, uh, going down my list, I'm going to go, and I put them in no particular order until like the top five for me.
that's what I did. That's what I did too.
So basically, my top five guitar players, my favorite, my own personal favorite, I've got in the top five.
Yeah,
So I'll go with 20 to 6 and start picking out, because these are in no particular order.
yeah,
I'm
me too.
not ranking these at all, but Tony Iommi from Black Sabbath.
Yeah, I have him on my list too. I think he's just more of the riffs for me than the solos, but I mean he had some hellacious just rhythms. And yeah, I mean Godfather of doom and
Yeah.
heavy metal guitar, you know. So it's like, yeah, you can't really beat that. With the doomier sounding guitar, and this one he ranks not in my top five either, but he's there. Is Kirk Winstein from Crowbar and Down and Kingdom of Sorrow. Just and they call him the Riff Lord for a reason. I mean, he's just got very tasty riffs. He's not a big solo guy. He's more of a straightforward kind of dude, and it's like that's my kind of bread and butter because I do not play guitar.
Yeah.
So I don't get as involved as you do, but I like if I hear a riff or a groove I like, that's where I'm at. So yeah, definitely Kurt for me.
Nice. Number 19, and this is kind of it's a dual guitar attack for 19 and 18. So 19 was Glenn Tipton and KK Downing, because
Yeah,
their work in Judas Priest, as you know, they were a pair of guitar players that just sounded awesome together. If one wasn't
yeah,
playing the rhythm and holding it down, the other was soloing, and back and forth.
yeah. I mean, throwing.
So they
I mean, I
definitely
had
have to be in on this list somewhere, just from that alone.
I
That
had
guitar
one
team.
dude. Yeah, I had one team like that, but I put them on the same line. But I guess it doesn't really matter. But I have Chris DeGarmo and Michael Wilton from
Oh,
Queensryche.
nice. Yes.
Yeah, the earlier Queensryche when I was really into them all the way through Empire. I know they've changed lineups since then, but those two together were pretty very melodic and a lot of good solos and stuff. So yeah,
Yeah, I wish I would
definitely.
have had them on mine.
Yeah, they're just they get overlooked because of the Jeff Tate and now
Yeah.
Todd Latorra. So the singer's always kind of been the highlight of Queensryche, but they're definitely solid guitar players for sure.
All right. So that takes me to my next guitar team, which is Dave Murray and Adrian Smith
Oh, the old
from
school,
Iron
yeah, yeah.
Maiden. And
Yeah, that's
also,
one of
it's that same dynamic. You got the two excellent guitar players, and you throw them together in the mix.
yeah. Yeah, that's not a bad it's not a bad gig at all there. I mean, for them, I think that's pretty good. I don't have any more teams, I don't think. I have a guy though that may get some argument from some people, but I think he's come up with some great stuff. He's in more than one band. So I guess I'll throw him out now. His name is Jim Root. He is the
There
guitar
you go.
player for Slipknot and Stone Sour both. So he can play the really heavy stuff and he can play the more melodic stuff. And I. he doesn't get much attention because it's usually Corey Taylor or whoever's playing drums, and but he's just there pounding away, and it's like very underrated in my opinion. Even though I fell kind of out of love with Slipknot, after the last couple albums, I haven't been my favorite, but he's still, Stone Sour stuff along.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's
Well,
good. Yeah, that's
you'll make Andy over at Guitar Stuff Studios happy with that one.
yeah,
Jim Root
yeah, that's
fan.
cool. Yeah, yeah, he's a hell of a guitar player. Yeah.
Uh for my 17 slot, we're going with James Hetfield.
Okay.
I for Metallica and the rhythms that he holds down. I mean, everybody knows that Kirk is the lead player,
Yeah.
but Hetfield's no slouch.
No, no, and
So
I get a lot of I get a lot of hate because I think Saint Anger is one of the best albums they ever did,
oh my god.
and it has no solo. That's more my thing. Yeah, the snare sounded like crap, but I think even the snare sound would have been okay in a different situation. I just think it was out of nowhere and brought in too many changes at once for that. But yeah, Hammett's good, but I definitely think Hetfield's the backbone. I think he's writes a lot more of the shit than we think, and he can play solos too. I mean, he's not a slouch in the solo department either. So, and holding down vocals. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
And
Uh,
I would throw in Dave Mustaine, but I kind of think of him more as the vocalist than the guitar player. But
yeah, I
he
think
yeah, so that was like an honorable mention. I would throw Dave Mustaine in this fucking mix as well.
I have him down
You
farther,
do?
in the honorable category. Now, here's one. If we're talking about rhythm guitar players that sing, I got Michael Sweet in there.
Oh, nice.
If you listen, some of the guitar work he does is pretty, and he plays guitar for other bands without singing too. I mean, a lot of his other projects, he will, at least two I know of, he played guitar only. So he's definitely an accomplished guitar player and does the leads and can do all that too. So, yeah, I think he was solid in my list for hot, maybe not top 5 or 10, but he's definitely in there. So,
Oh, yes. Uh, all right. I know a lot of people would disagree and probably try to rank him higher, but I put Slash in at 16.
I think that's fair. I think Slash is good, but I mean, I don't think he's doing anything that's unbelievably like blows me away. I mean, for
Well,
me
I mean,
personally,
he can play with anybody, and he can
yeah,
solo over anything. And but do I rank him in the top 10 of my favorites? Not in the top 10. Not in the top
no,
10.
yeah,
But he definitely he's made his mark on the scene.
oh yeah,
Since
yeah.
Guns N'
He's
Roses just opened the door, and I mean, he was prominently featured on Guitar Hero. So it's not like this is a nobody. But
no.
I
I
don't.
think
I
that's
just yeah. I don't think he's in my top 10 personally.
yeah. That's a fair spot in my mind. I think he'd be just fine right there. Um, there's so many, we're not going to get them all right. Since we went with Iomi earlier, I'm going to go with Ozzy, and it's a tie for me. And I'll be honest, it's a tie. And I don't want to leave Jake out, of course, but I will because I think between Zach Wild and Ozzy and Randy Rhodes, I mean, we don't have any idea what potential he could have had. But just the first, couple albums he got to play on was ungodly good. And for such a young guy, so I call that a tie. It's like Ozzy's guitarist. We can throw Jake in there as a side, and hell, we could. you know, just call it a three-way tie because Jake had some good shit too. It's like
Well,
I
you
just
know,
think that Zach was the most powerful of the three, but Randy was pretty hard to beat with them solos.
yeah,
And Bark at the Moon's a hell of an album. So
yeah.
what do you do? They're all good.
Well,
So
that it's funny you bring that up because 15 for me was Zach and 14 was Randy.
yeah, we're thinking hard, man. I think we're doing pretty well
But
with
then
catching up.
again, Jakey Lee should be in this. He's not an honorable mention, so you're kind of right. The Zach and the Jakey Lee are kind of a tie for 15
Yeah,
for
yeah,
me.
I think all three of them could be entered. I mean, I think Zach had the most exposure because he
Yes.
was in there longer, but I think the other guys contributed just contributed a hell of a lot in the short time they were there. So, and I'll throw, since we're talking Ozzy, it's not really Ozzy, but the one I saw play with Ozzy first is a hell of a guitar player in his own right. It's Brad Gillis from Night Ranger.
Yep.
I mean, they got
Yep.
some smoking songs that people don't realize. Don't tell me you love me
Yeah.
came out.
Early Night
Uh,
Ranger
uh,
was rocking. He rocked.
yeah, Brad can do it all, man. I mean, he goes from playing Night Ranger to playing with Ozzy, and he's had what 40 years with Night Ranger now. So it's
Yeah.
like, hey, and he's underrated criminally, but he was on my list as not in the top 10 like you were saying, but he's definitely in my top 35, whatever I got
Yeah.
here as
Exactly.
an honorable mention.
And you start looking at the list that they come out with, and some of these they're placed like stupid high, stupid high.
Just give me a couple examples on that list. We'll try to see if that's
Without naming anybody, Steve Howe and Dickie Betts are like 83 and 84. So Dickie Betts played for
Allman Brothers. Yeah.
uh, and number 86 they list Adrian Smith and Dave Murray.
Yeah, that's pretty high for them, but I
I
mean,
mean,
I get it.
Lita was 90.
Yeah, but they're not just doing hard rock and heavy metal. They're doing more of everything,
Okay,
I think.
okay, all right, but at the same time, somebody that's in my top 5 they put at 94 was Joe Satriani at
Yeah. I
94.
Pure guitar playing, that's kind of a robbery there.
Well,
I don't quite
and
get
that's
that.
what I'm saying. So I don't know how they decided they were going to rank this shit, but I see some top Muddy Waters is 78.
Yeah. I
You know what
mean,
I mean?
uh, Rolling Stone has some strange list. It's like I don't know where they get their people or their polling from or whatever, but I've
And
seen
the
other
ranking,
lists.
I think it's the ranking for me is insane. I mean, Richie
Yeah.
Blackmore from Deep
Yeah,
Purple
he's
was
good.
74.
Yeah, I mean, I think what he did with Rainbow was as impressive as what he did with even with before he was even well, I don't know what was first, Rainbow or Deep Purple, but probably Deep Purple. But yeah, he did
Well,
good shit in both of those.
and
Now, like we were just talking about Brad Gillis, he's probably not even there, and
yeah,
that's a shame.
I haven't even scrolled through it.
Yeah.
So
So
I don't agree with a lot of Rolling Stones picks on their ranks. So I don't know if they were just doing the
yeah,
same thing we are and just listing a bunch of guitar players and just throwing them together. But I think
yeah, I
they
don't
ranked
know.
them.
I mean, ranking is hard to do because you got so many personal preferences, but uh, I think when I listen to a lot of mine are just like I said, they're probably not on that list or they're underrated, but it's what I listen to. So it's like for me, Alex Lifeson from Rush is a phenomenal guitar player.
Yeah,
But of course he's going to get overshadowed because you got Neil Peart and Geddy Lee and the weird kind of singing they do and the drums are crazy. but that dude's playing some riffs, man. I mean, he's a excellent guitar player. He just never really got the full level of Geddy and Neil, which is it's a shame, but I don't think it bothered him. But I just think of the riffs and technical stuff he did was like, incredible.
Well,
That's not easy music to play, it's just not.
it's just it's insane. It was so. What was that? Was Alex in your list then?
Alex is yeah, he's definitely in my top. He's in my top 20. Yeah,
Okay.
he's actually starts my top 20 and my top
Okay.
20. So
Okay. And then my next, which would be my 13, would be Billy Gibbons, and he ranks
yeah,
76 in Rolling Stone. There's
yeah,
ZZ Top. He's playing some cool shit, and always
yeah,
has. And he gets overlooked quite a bit, but they call
yeah.
him the Reverend.
Yeah, it must be like that kind of night tonight because Billy Gibbons is actually my 19.
Oh,
So
nice,
I just
nice.
I segued from 20 to 19. So and I've already mentioned a couple that are a little higher, but um for me my number 17 I've already talked about was DeGarmo and Wilton. I had Satriani at 16
Okay, that's fair.
and I had Joe Walsh at 15.
I didn't even add Joe at all. I didn't add him at all as a guitar
I
player. I
had
didn't.
Yeah, I had him at 15. Uh, I had Ace Frehley
Oh yeah,
as
Ace.
but he's an honorable mention. I got him mixed up here. My 14 was going to be one that people might give me some shit. I don't know. It's Mark Tremonti.
Oh, nice. Yes.
I mean, dude's got Creed and Alter Bridge and his solo stuff. I mean, it's crazy how good he is. And where are you at on your list? 13?
Yeah, I got down to 13, but I had a couple teams in there, and we hopped around with the Aussie guitar players because we all kind of had them in the
Yeah.
same area.
Yeah, well, I had 13 too. I had where's my 13? I just had the list. Oh, god dang it. I just lost my list. Oh, I'll get flack for this one too, but I think he's very good. You probably don't know a lot about this guy, but it's Tim Salt from Clutch
Okay.
because I
Nope.
listened to a lot of Clutch back in the day. And I know he's not on any list, but I mean just he even drives me a little crazy with the wall pedal, but I mean, as far as some of the iconic shit he came up with, that was my 13. So
Nice. Oh, Alex. Alex Lifeson was number 58
not
on
horrible. I mean,
yeah,
I had him 20,
58.
I guess.
Yeah, this is all over the fucking place.
Yeah, I can imagine. So
Oh shit. Which takes me down to my number 12. So
yeah,
my number 12 probably should have been higher up, but I'm gonna keep him here. Dimebag.
okay, yeah.
Dimebag was number 12. And I kind of hurried and put this list together. So I would probably put him in my top 10, probably at the 10 spot.
I I mean, people come after me, and I just didn't listen to enough Pantera, and so I didn't have him on my list. So I probably missed that one, but I didn't listen to enough Pantera or Damage Plan to really hear enough of his stuff. I mean, I know he's famous for like Cemetery Gates and Domination and fucking Hostile, and I mean he's a good guitar player. Don't get me wrong. I didn't listen to enough
Yeah.
to
Well,
put him on my list. So
and that's why it's a favorites list and not this is
yeah,
our best of the best.
yeah.
Because when
'Cause
you
my
ever you rank something, you know how it goes. You go, oh shit, well, yeah, okay. And then
Yeah,
how do we determine this? I just go favorites because there's
yeah,
so many guitar players. I'm probably forgetting. I'm going to go, oh shit, yeah, that one.
yeah. I'm sure there is, but I mean, I had some that were probably crazy to put on the list, but they're all kind of most of them are honorable mentions. So yeah, number 12 was Michael Sweet, so that's where I've talked about him, but that was my number 12
Okay,
on my list, and I stand by that. He's probably not even in the 250, so it's like because
yeah,
he's not known. Oz is the lead guitarist, but I think Michael does a lot of good shit. It's just Oz is good too, but I don't know. Something about Michael doing the other projects and stuff makes me put him ahead of Oz. So that's how I did that.
gotcha. Uh, my number 11 was Nita Strauss, who I mentioned earlier. So that's where I
Okay.
put her. Was at number 11. So what's your 11?
My number 11 is Neil Schon from
Oh,
Journey.
nice, nice.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think with all the years in Santana and everything they've done in Journey, I don't know. I know it's not heavy metal, but it's like, yeah, I enjoy his riffs. I think the solos are good. So
Well,
very,
you could almost put it slash, you know, and just say, okay, we're going to go Neil Schon and Carlos Santana because their styles.
yeah. Yeah. They were, yeah, a lot alike.
And
Neil's
and if
done
you go in that whole school, I could throw Orianthi in there because all their
true.
styles, they're all kind of those blues players.
Yeah, Neil had bad English too. I mean,
Yeah,
you can throw bad English in there, so it's like, yeah,
so that's a good pick. I completely forgot about him. Which brings me to my number 10, and he's definitely not hard rock. He's definitely not metal, but in my top 10, it's Prince.
Prince is on my list. He's on my list too, but it'll
How
be a
high
couple
did
minutes.
how high did he rank for you?
A little higher, but
A
not
little
not a
higher.
lot. Yeah, yeah. My number 10 is again a rhythm player, but it's like I said, that's what I listen to. But it's Scott the Knot.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite thrash bands of all time is Stormtroopers of Death, and then Anthrax and the damn things and
Yeah,
democracy, all the stuff he's done. He can play Mr. Bungle for God's sakes. He plays that weird stuff too, and it's like, yeah, he's underrated as a guitar player, but he's like because he's rhythm, plays a lot of
yeah.
rhythm. So
I might have to
I-
fucking sneak him in there and change him out with one of my other picks because
yeah,
I forgot. Yeah, Scotty, and I really enjoy his playing.
yeah,
Maybe I should put him
he's
in the number 8 spot.
what number were you now? You're number 9 now,
My
right?
number 9 was Lita, so that's where I ranked
Oh,
her.
okay.
I
My
kind
number
of
nine
wanted to.
might My number 9 is probably going to surprise you. It really probably will, but it's Angus Young.
Very
And
nice.
I really didn't think I would have him anywhere near the top 10, but it's like, it's hard to deny the cool stuff he's done. I mean, his brother gets a lot of credit too. I mean, Malcolm back in the day, but Angus is just, the solos on top of it and the energy I mean, overall, just being able to play the stuff he did and make simple stuff sound good. So that's kind of a cool trait to have. So that's where he's at for me.
Nice. Uh, my number 8, if I wouldn't put Scott Ian in that slot, would be Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I'm not a blues guy, but he's in my honorable mention. He's down there
Is
too with
he? Okay.
Greg. Yeah, he's with Greg and Dwayne Allman and all the rest of the blues guys that I kind of don't
I
listen to very much.
I kind of liked Stevie's style and his playing, and I wanted to stick a kind of a rock and blues player, and you know another fucking guy I would have loved to seen not have his career cut short. from a tragedy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Who knows
Yeah.
where Stevie would have been today? Playing
True.
with the band Double Trouble with his brother, and he had a potential to go on. Plus, he was a guitar player for David Bowie.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of good. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff you can put there. Um, number is we got number 8 here.
Yep, we're number 8.
That is Prince for me. Yeah, Prince is number 8 on my list. So yeah, just phenomenal. I mean, even just Purple Rain, the Guitar Gently Weeps thing he did, at that award ceremony with the Traveling Wilburys and stuff. Just grossly underrated as a guitar player in my mind. I mean, it's just
Well,
killer.
and
Yeah.
look at his Super Bowl show. Since we just was talking
Yeah,
about sports recently, that
it's the greatest of all time.
yeah, it's
Greatest.
probably one of the fucking best halftime shows ever.
It was
So,
my favorite. It was my favorite, and I've seen them all. I've seen them all since I was able to watch. But hopefully, some beats it someday. But I mean, it's going to be a tough job to beat that. That was pretty crazy impressive. So, but yeah,
all right, let's go to number 7. And I technically should probably put him higher, but we're going to go number 7 for Nuno Betancourt.
good one. I forgot about Nuno. I really did. I did. That's crazy. I forgot about Nuno Betancourt.
Well, the guy was a beast.
Yeah, he is.
He was such a flashy player playing for Extreme, and when Extreme broke up, he started doing the G3 with Vi and all those guys.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
yes, so they would call him in. I think he's done like 2 for sure, maybe 3, to where they get the
Hmm.
guitar players together and they do that little tour. I know he's done 1 for sure, but I think he's
Right.
probably done 2. And he's a beast. Their newest album that come out last year before, it is just
Yeah, it's a lot,
yeah,
lot heavier. It was a lot heavier. Yeah, I
very
remember that.
very heavy. He's upped his guitar game. I mean, he does a tribute to Eddie Van Halen when he's playing live and playing some of Eddie's licks. I'm like, this guy's no fucking
Yeah.
slouch.
No, no, definitely not a slouch.
Not a slouch.
No. And I mean, there's so many that I really enjoy listening to, but I was trying to pick the ones that I thought were more. I listened to them because of their guitar, not so much they're just a part of a band I really liked and this stuff. So that's why my next one uh, is Reb Beach.
Oh, nice. Damn, I forgot about Reb.
I just love
Fuck.
every time I've seen Winger, he just it just it kind of takes the attention off of Kip and the rest of them to me. It's like I know Kip is the main focus and their songs are but Red man, and then he went and played in any other band he's ever played in, he just made it
Docking.
better.
He played in
And
Docking for a while.
yeah, and it's like he's crazy good, and it's again one of those guys that it it's the sound, it's the tone quality, it's the solos, it's everything about it, and just you something about the hook that he got in Winger especially was
Well,
yeah just cool for me. So yeah, he's up
so
there for me.
late '80s, Heading for Heartbreak solo
Yeah, it
was
makes me.
phenomenal. You just go, damn,
I get
that guy's
I
fucking
get
good.
goosebumps. I get goosebumps now when I listen to that. And
Yes.
it's like I can almost cry real tears when I hear it live, especially. It was like what? It's
Yeah,
just so flawless. It's flawless. It's like Prince doing the Purple Rain solo at the Super Bowl. It was like flawless. You can't get no better than that. You're
yeah.
not going to do it any better. And it wasn't a one-off for Red Beach because I've seen him more than once. I mean, he does that every time. So it's like, yeah, it's just
Yeah,
under, yeah,
consistently. He's consistently
consistent,
good.
consistently good. Yeah.
Yes. So that takes us to number 6.
Yeah.
All right, number 6, Jimi Hendrix.
We were close on that then. We're
Or
close.
wait.
Yeah, pretty close. Yeah, Hendrix is good, but I mean, for me, he's one ahead of this guy, and it was hard. It was back and forth because, and people are going to say who, and I was like, that's okay because you don't listen to him, but other people, but it's Roman Abramoff from the Mighty Ginger.
Oh, nice.
Just the shit he can do in drop A by himself as a guitar player and hold that whole vicious cycle up that they play, that heavy ass shit. And no solos, none. He doesn't
Yeah.
play solo. Just beastly all the way through. Bam, bam, bam. And different rhythms forever, that just catch you off guard. Like he don't need breakdowns, he don't need solos. It's just keeps your attention just playing what he plays. So that's a big deal for me as listening to guitar. And it's all about the hook and the riff and the angry sounding shit he comes out of there.
So he's
It's
your number 6.
he's number 6.
Okay, he's number 6.
Yeah.
So we go to the top 5.
Yeah. This gets a little tricky.
Malcolm.
Who?
Malcolm Young.
Malcolm Young. Okay, yeah, you picked Malcolm. I picked Angus. That's okay.
That's my
That's a
number
good
5.
that's a good pick. My number 5 is actually Jimi Hendrix.
Very
So
nice.
we were close on that one.
Well, and it's kind of cool that our top, we're starting to get to the top, and a lot of our list was kind of synced up in spots.
Yeah, yeah.
We
There's a
kind of
couple
had some,
couple spots.
and
Yeah.
going on with Malcolm, he's the rhythm guitar player that's held it down for Angus for how fucking long until he
Yeah.
passed.
That's like I said, he Angus was great. Angus is great. Malcolm was definitely a backbone. Angus was just got to do the solos. I mean, it's one of those things that I should have probably been the one to pick Malcolm because I'm more of a rhythm guy.
Yeah.
But it's just Angus. That little extra for Angus. The solos I do like that he did. So yeah, that's a good pick though. 5, Malcolm Young. So what number is that? That was your 5?
That was my 5, and yours was Jimmy, right? You put Jimmy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I had Jimmy at 5.
So we go to my 4 spot. We're gonna go Joe Satriani.
Joe Satchmo. All right.
And
That's not bad.
just because of his playing, I consider him like one of the top notch guitar players on the planet. I
Yeah,
mean, he really came into his own with his solo stuff. I mean, he was Kirk Hammett's guitar teacher, for Christ's sakes.
yeah.
So all the Metallica freaks out there, he took lessons from Joe.
True. That's true. That's
You
very
know what I
true.
mean? So
Oh
and
yeah.
that's why I ranked him at 4. So these are my top 5 favorite, and Joe is going to be number 4. So what's your number 4, Mikey?
Number 4 I've talked about already a little bit. Kirk Winstein for me,
Okay.
and just the heavy riff lord kind of shit he does is great for me, and it's not for everybody, but it's for me. So that's number
Well,
4.
hey, and like I said, it's just our favorite. This is
Yeah,
not
yeah.
skill levels or anything like that, because
Right. Yeah, yeah.
some of these, I might catch shit for not putting Randy Rhodes higher, but we're going on my favorites. I
Yeah.
had to throw Randy in there because of his all of his style and stuff, but you know, when I'm getting to my top 5, I'm going, okay, these guys were just a little bit better at what they did.
Yeah, yeah, I get you. It's got so many honorable mentions that it's disgusting on here, but trying to swindle it down, it's like, yeah, there's going to be some that people aren't going to agree with. That's okay. I don't agree with the Rolling Stones fucking list either. So,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know,
they
what's
put
their what's their number 5 and 4? Since that's where we're at.
Well, let me give you a couple. They put, let's see, they put Neil Young ahead of Brian May on this list. Brian May
Mm,
was 33, and they put Neil Young as 30. They put David Gilmour at 28.
that's one I forgot about there. I mean, he
They
is pretty impressive.
they put Hetfield and Hammett at 23. They put Randy Rhoads at 21. They put Randy Rhoads at 21 and Tom Morello at 18.
Yeah, I don't get that. I mean,
Tom
Morello's
fucking
good.
Morello.
He's good, but it's just all that. I'm not into all that funky bullshit he does with his kill switch and stuff.
I
It's
could
just not
fucking
my.
do some of that shit that he does with a fucking lighter sliding on a guitar. I don't even,
Yeah, I mean,
he's good.
he's
He's
not.
good. Tom Morello is
Yeah,
good. I've heard
yeah.
him play. He plays
He's
some
on
good
my
stuff.
list. He's on my list. Way down.
Yeah,
Honorable
he didn't
mention.
even make my 20 because I just don't. He's good, but he's not good enough to fucking hit my top 20.
Yeah,
They
okay.
put Tony Iommi at 13, Prince at 14, Keith Richards at 15.
Keith Richards, come on.
Well, they
I
put
just don't.
Santana was 11.
That's not
That's not
bad.
bad.
No,
BB
that's
King at
not bad.
8. They put
Okay.
fucking Joni Mitchell at 9.
I don't even know anything she's ever done, so I can't say that she's not phenomenal because I don't. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know.
I've
Just being
never
honest.
heard Joni Mitchell play a fucking lead better than fucking Carlos Santana.
Well, I haven't either, but I haven't heard Joni Mitchell at all, so I couldn't tell you.
Well,
No,
BB King was 8. Nile Rodgers was 7. Their number 6 was Sister Rosetta Tharpe.
I've heard her, never seen her, never heard her, but
She was kind of an innovator of blues guitar, and
I
especially being a woman. So I understand
I can
why they
get
wanted to
that.
rank her. She was
I
good.
can
She was fucking
understand.
good.
Yeah, I can get it. I can get that. That's okay.
So their number 5 was Jeff Beck. Now,
Yeah, you're
I
getting into guitar people like Robin Trower and all that. I just
so
don't listen
I
to it.
I don't. I was not a big Jeff Beck fan because I never listened to
Yeah,
Jeff Beck.
I didn't
So
either. I mean, but there's some on my like my honorable mention list has Pat Travers and Ronnie Montrose
yeah,
and
yeah,
Leslie West from
yeah.
Mountain and Joe Perry and from Aerosmith because I'm not a big Aerosmith guy, but he's still on my list. Peter Frampton's on my honorable mention.
Exactly.
Uh,
And I don't even know.
even I even had Mick Mars on my honorable mention, which is because you gotta give him credit for what he does.
Yeah, yeah,
Did for Motley
exactly.
Crue, yeah. But he's on my honorable mention. Warren DeMartini, Jeff Hanneman from Slayer. These guys
Yeah.
are all great. Well, even Wes Borland from Limp Bizkit, that dude can play, man. It's just there's not enough room at the top for all the bands that I wanted. Jimmy Page is he was close to my top 20 though. Jimmy
Well,
Page.
I'm
I
not
mean,
done with the top 5, but for example, they put Alex Lifeson at fucking 58,
no, come on.
and
That's
they
a little
put
high.
wait.
That's a little high.
They put Thurston Moore and Lee Ronaldo from Sonic Youth at 57. So you're telling me Sonic Youth was better guitar players than Alex Lifeson?
Not a chance. Not a chance in three
So
L. Is that
the
true?
fucking Rolling Stone. I mean, they fucking put T Bone Walker and Ry Cooder higher on the list than fucking Sonic Youth guitar players.
Nah, I don't get it.
You know what I mean? I'm like, okay. Joe
Yeah,
Perry
yeah.
was 75.
For me, that's not bad because I didn't listen to a lot of Aerosmith, but I think he's in my top 40 even as 30, whatever I got here.
Well, it's just, they put Nuno at fucking 95.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they are more current. They're going all the way back into the day, though. So I
Well,
guess,
Dimebag was 107. Robin Trower was 109.
That's not really. I
Well,
mean, just guitar skill, it's Trower's got to be ahead of him. But that I'm not saying nothing bad about Dimebag, but I know Robin Trower was, a beast. But I mean, if you don't listen to that stuff, like they probably don't, it's all based on guitar.
Jim Root and Mick Thompson got 143.
Well, I mean, that's not bad for overall. I mean, yeah. But on my list, they were higher, but they were right at the edge of 20. So
Okay, all right,
putting
all
you
right.
right
Hold
there.
on, hold on. Since we're kind of going to the list. Uh, you remember who Eric Johnson was, right?
Yeah, Cliffs of Dover.
Okay, he was at 156. So who the fuck do you think they put at 154, which ranks higher than Eric Johnson? You've heard of Cliffs of Dover,
Mm-hmm.
one of your favorite vocalists of all time, and played guitar left-handed. Kurt Cobain was
Left-handed.
154.
Yeah, that's not.
So that's what I'm saying. This
Yeah,
is
it's
how
a.
they do their fucking ranking. I mean, John Fogerty is 172, and
Yeah,
Mark
that's a.
Knopfler, Mark Knopfler
Oh,
was at
fuck! I forgot.
176.
I can't believe I forgot him too. But I mean, I I wasn't a dire Straits fanatic, but I love Sultans of Swing. I just love that song. So it's like, and that's a hell of a guitar solo shit he does in that.
Yeah, and I
He,
mean they put fucking Malcolm Young at 202.
well, personal preference there. I mean, I get it.
Well, I'm just like I said, I'm just referring to the list. Roy Clark was at 209. Roy
Yeah,
Clark,
that's pretty high. Yeah, I mean, definitely not my style of music, but boy, he could play it. He could play it.
yeah, he could fucking play guitar.
Banjo,
So
whatever else you threw in front of him. Yeah,
so again, I don't know where they come up with their shit. They put Leslie West at 245.
that's criminal. That really is. That's criminal.
So yeah, Robbie Krieger was 248.
At least he wasn't in front of Leslie West, which really would have been bad.
Well, and Andy Summers from the
Yeah,
Police, he was number 250. So that was
he's
number 250.
yeah. I mean, I think he's good. I think he would have been a little higher on my list if I was doing it. But like I
Exactly.
said, I'm not an aficionado on guitar, so I kind of just go by.
Well, and they were picking rock, blues, jazz, reggae, country, folk, punk, metal, and more. The list prioritizes quantities like heaviness over tastiness, feel over polish, invention over refinement. Favors
Yeah,
risk takers, originators, and those who contributed to great songs and albums over pure technical skill. That's what they use. Okay, that was
yeah. I could see that's why Thurston Moore got ahead, of Alex Lifeson because they played some crazy shit. And I mean, I got Paige Hamilton on my list, as a
yeah,
honorable mention. The Helmet does some strange stuff, but it's like he's right there. And I mean, the top three for me were the toughest ones to dwindle. They really
okay.
were.
So you
So
ready to do the top three? Because I've got my top
yeah,
three. I've got the list that they came up from the 250 greatest guitarists of all time. That was theirs. Ours is just favorite. So
yeah.
who do you want? You want mine or theirs first?
You go ahead with yours.
My number three spot was Steve Vai. The fucking
Okay.
guy he's not on this planet. He's not.
Yeah. I mean, I liked when I saw him. I've only seen him once. I saw him with David Lee Roth when he was in that band back in David Lee Roth's first solo tour way back in the day. But I mean, yeah, I like his stuff. The whole two guitar thing was what I remember. And wasn't he if I'm wrong, correct me. Wasn't he in Crossroads, the movie?
Yes,
Was
he
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 in that?
he played the guitar player, the devil's guitar
Yeah, okay.
player. Yes.
I do remember him from that, but I didn't listen to him a lot. So it's like for a guitar player, it's probably a little different take on stuff than a guy like me. So my number
Well,
three is definitely not a guitar virtuoso, I would think. But for me, he played the coolest stuff and the coolest sound. It was his sound that got me. Was Tom Schultz from Boston.
nice. Yes.
I just think he had that tone, that sound, and he played those elaborate solos, but he also did nice, almost clean sounding rhythms, which I don't usually like anything clean. But he made it sound good, and it fit right in with what they were doing. So yeah, Tom Schultz for me. It's
Well, and
strange.
the fucking guy created the Rockman, and that was
Yeah,
just that was the little fucking thing that you plugged your fucking guitar into, like a Walkman, and you put
yeah.
it on your side, and so he created that. He built that.
He was. I mean, he was a genius. He was
Yes,
like
so that's why I'm
MIT or
saying,
whatever. Yeah.
he's definitely up
I mean,
there.
he's in there just for those first three albums for me. I mean, that just
Yeah,
is great. Yeah, great. So
which takes us to number two.
yeah,
uh, by the way, Rolling Stones number three was Jimmy Page.
I can live with that. I mean, Jimmy was right. Like I said, he was right there for me, and I didn't listen to a shit ton of Led Zeppelin. So I mean, but you got to give him credit. He was innovative and a little too bluesy for me. But
Yeah.
that's just me personally. So,
Uh, my number two, Angus Young.
yeah, he did go with Angus
I
there, huh?
I went
Well,
with
higher
fucking
than mine.
Angus on my number two, just because of the show that he puts on. I've seen him several times live. He plays his ass off, and even when he was starting to get older and not getting around as good, he still went out and put on the fucking show and just jammed. He's jammed for 50 fucking years, and he's one of my favorite guitar players. And
Yeah, I
you
mean,
kind of I want to put him and Malcolm kind of together, but that's why I split them up, because for me, a rhythm player, the solid rhythm player is Malcolm.
yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
But
Yeah,
I
definitely. Yeah.
wanted to go Angus on his own because it was just inspiring to watch him. I love ACDC, and that's why that's the number two spot for me.
Okay. Yeah, and like I said, we know this is our listening pleasure, and nobody probably going to agree with some of our stuff. But my number two is Mr. George Lynch.
Nice. Oh fuck! I forgot George. Shit.
I was rocking with Dokken for a long,
Yeah.
long
Yeah.
time, and Don was supposed to be the guy, but George was. I mean, the whole band kind of. I know all them guys. George Lynch. Jeff Pilson. Mick Brown. Don Dokken. That was the original four. But George just, man, he just let it out of the gate sometime, and not just that. The stuff he did in Lynch Mob, the stuff he's done with Sweet and Lynch. They've done two albums together, and that's a hell of a guitar album if you really want to get down to it. Both of those guys are good. But yeah, George is just, as
Well,
for me, that the shit he came up with was pretty freaking cool, man.
I might have to add him as a co-spot with fucking Steve Vai, because I was
Yeah,
like,
there you go.
who am I forgetting? Who am I forgetting? Oh, George Lynch.
Yeah, it's
Fuck.
George Lynch. It's just,
Nah,
it's like that
he's
that
yeah.
that decade was just though that albums he did with Dokken were just crazy. I mean, and before we do number one, we got to go. There's tons of these guys we're missing, and I know some of the ones that people think Tony Iommi and these guys should be on top of the list. Blah blah blah. I mean, I'm missing Vito Barada. I mean,
Oh yeah.
that dude was crazy good.
Yes. Yes.
Ted Nugent played a lot of good stuff. I mean, Warren D. Martini,
Yeah, he should
uh,
have been in my list too. I love everything that he did.
Vivian Campbell, Phil Collin. You know, I got Paul Gilbert, for God's
Yeah,
sake. CC DeVille even. I mean, he played some crazy good stuff. Uh, one of the one I really battled with because I only listened to him, but Rocky George from Suicidal back in the day. Oh my
yeah,
God! I mean, how would I laugh tomorrow? That solo and shit from that is beautiful. But you're not going to make everybody happy. So Yngwie Malmsteen, Christ, Yngwie is a phenomenal guitar player, but I didn't listen to a lot of Yngwie Malmsteen. I listened to a couple albums, but
yeah,
I had Satriani, I had Steve Vai, all on my. Like I said, the difference between me and you is you play, I don't. So it's like
yeah.
I just go by my ear, which leads us to the number one spot.
All right, I'm gonna give you three, two, and one for Rolling Stone was Jimmy Page. Chuck Berry was number two, and they put Jimmy at number one.
Jimi Hendrix at number one.
They put Jimmy at number one.
Well, like again, they had the innovative, all that stuff. I mean, yeah, he's got some unbelievable guitar, no doubt. Playing upside down and backwards,
Yeah,
and all that stuff. I get that. Chuck Berry was like, I guess. I mean, I just wasn't thinking back because I didn't listen to it. There's probably a Chet Atkins and all them guys from
yes,
back in the day would have been
yeah,
phenomenal. But like me, if I had my choice of a top five, that I really would have thought it through, Rivers Cuomo would have been there from Weezer. I mean, yeah, it's like the crunch. But
yeah,
I wanted to go by more of overall that I listened to for. I only listened to two Weezer albums. Now the top, ones I wanted to be shit that I listened to a ton of. And I think number one will be pretty self-explanatory on that, but we'll let you roll your number one out first. See what we do with that.
uh, Eddie Van Halen, number one for me. That's my favorite guitar player. I've listened to him the most. I followed him the most. That inspired me to play. I mean, you know, I've got my EVH guitars all over the house. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, you do.
and my number one was their number four. So they ranked Eddie Van Halen at number four.
And I can see. I mean, I think that's respectable because of
Yeah,
the way they describe the list. I think that's pretty respectable, and I agree with that. Spot for most of it. But my number one is probably a surprise and a shock, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, what the hell are you talking? It's Eddie Van Halen.
yay!
It is. It's just, and I didn't listen to as much Van Halen as say you guys did or anybody. I mean, I listened to a lot of it, even through the Van Hagar years. I liked more than I did the old stuff sometimes. But the fact that this dude could play shit, that somebody else could come along and pick up the guitar, the same exact guitar, and play the same exact notes that he's playing in chords, and it's still not sounding as good. It sound the same. He had something about his playing style that was unique that only he could fucking do it. It's like, in Back to the Future when Biff's the only one that can start that car.
Yeah,
Eddie's the only one that can play that shit that he played to a T. And he
yes.
can do it at any given time with any guitar you handed him. Somebody else could take that same guitar and play the same exact chord for chord, and it's not going to sound the same.
No,
It's not going to be as good. So yeah, that's the whole thing for me was the uniqueness that Eddie Van Halen had because you don't find anybody that can play. I mean, even the greats like Satriani and them that played the tribute, they're damn good, and they might be really close, but You put two of those tracks on, I can tell the difference. And I'm not a guitar player.
Yeah.
I would be able to tell you which one's Eddie Van Halen, which one's Joe Satriani.
Yeah.
Just that little nuance he had. So yeah, it's just it's almost undeniable. It's people that listen and they call themselves a hard rock or metal list don't have Eddie Van Halen number one. You just didn't listen to Van Halen. I mean, that's just that. You couldn't have listened to much of Van Halen because he was that special and unique and one of a kind. And I'm not taking anything away from the Jimmy Pages and Jimi Hendrix and Chuck Berrys of the world, but I have heard a lot of people copy Chuck Berry. I've heard a lot of people copy, Jimi Hendrix style. I can't find anybody that could play Eddie Van Halen like he did. Now maybe his kid is close because he was right there with him the whole time, but even he don't do it. He
Yeah.
he can't even.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's Eddie Van Halen. We finally agree on a top. We don't have to fight it out like we did the
Yeah, we
top
don't have to
10
fight that one
bands
out.
of the 80s.
Well,
Wasn't a
and it
battle.
was, you know, it's all here. It's all here and here.
Yeah,
And that's what makes the guitar player do what they do. And
yeah,
this, their own ears. So, for me, I followed his career from high school to
yeah.
now.
And I
I've
love,
listened to
yeah.
him for years, and like you said, I could pick out when Eddie plays something, even if he's not playing in Van Halen.
Oh yeah, the solo for "Beat It" right away. You can almost tell,
Yes.
and it's like he didn't even really have to be told. But after you've heard it once, you go, "Wow, I couldn't have missed that." I mean, because nobody's playing that. That's too close to what Eddie would. Yeah, Eddie plays that. So, and I think it's just he. To me, that guitar was his part of his body.
Yeah.
I think it was just an extension of his body. And there's guys like Joe Perry that they have a unique style, but they're not as good. They're just not as good, not as innovative, and just unique. Yeah.
Yeah.
And not only that, I mean, just as a musician, the keyboards too. But I mean, we're not talking about keyboards, but I think that has something to do with your guitar. He had a style on the keyboards too. So it's like he had a style for everything he touched, much like his brother does with the drums. I can
Yeah.
tell on Alex Van Halen, even if it's a pocket beat, you can tell it's Alex Van Halen right away. And it's like they have it, man. But Eddie's definitely got it with guitar. So yeah, come at me, fuckers. Yeah, I got the top one right. I might have had
Yeah.
some other ones that people say, "Oh, well, who the hell's that?" But
Well, and
okay.
again, there's some guys out there, pure technique that, I mean, Ingve was fast with the fucking scales and shit.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I mean? And probably could play fucking classical fucking riffs better than Eddie Van Halen, but
probably.
same way with
Well,
Steve Vai. He plays shit that I'm like, where the fuck did that come from? You're playing a bass and fucking at the same time as you're playing fucking lead shit over here that he's been doing here lately. So it's these guys have got this massive talent, but it was I think it was more Eddie's love for guitar and playing, and just got along with everybody and played with anybody. He would play with anybody. Played with Brian May, got on, late night with David Letterman, played with those guys. And it's just he had fun. And that's
yeah,
what kind of makes him my favorite.
yeah. And there's guys that can run scales all day, like the guy
Yeah.
Dragon
Yeah.
Force guitar player. He's a hell of a guitar player. But he's just, he's doing it just technique shit. The little bit of soulness or whatever miss. And I just gotta say, I mean, I was debating on that, Alec. I had him at number three for a couple of times, and I really thought about it, and I was like, dude, I can't put him ahead of Lynch. I mean, and then I thought about it, I said, I can't put Lynch ahead of him
Yeah.
because Lynch is good, but Jesus, man, I mean, I just, yeah, there's something about a Van Halen. Something about Eddie Van Halen that is never going to be repeated. I don't think. I don't think you're going to find that. So Yeah,
Exactly.
that's why he's one on mine. He's like original, one of a kind, gone too soon kind of.
Yeah. Well, all you people out there that might be watching this, what's your favorite guitar players? Who's your favorite
Yeah,
guitarist?
throw him out.
Throw them out
Yeah,
there. Comment. I'll put this up on X or I'll put it up. Give us a comment on
yeah.
YouTube on Rumble. Let us know who your top 20 favorite guitar players are.
Or even top five. See how close we are with the
Yeah,
top five because we had some pretty common ones. Top 10, really. We had a few spots that were
yeah,
maybe one off from each other, but yeah, I'm pretty happy overall with my 20, and I had some oddballs in there, but again, that's what I listen to,
yeah.
so
That's and
that's what
that's
I'm gonna do.
and that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the way it is, man.
All right, Mikey, you ready to wrap this up for the week?
Yeah, yeah, I am. Good episode. Good talking about guitar players. So yeah, it's been an interesting week because I had to listen to a lot of shit.
Nice. All
To come up with stuff.
right, everybody. This is Skeet.
Lush and Mikey.
See ya.
Peace out, people.